All right, good Thursday evening, Mid-Michigan. Chief Meteorologist Chris Easlick with your update as we head into your Friday. We are, of course, keeping a close eye on how road conditions eventually play out later tonight. That is the reason for our first alert weather day. A flash freeze on some area roads appears to be the main concern. Some slippery travel could be possible on Friday morning. It will have some lake effect snow in certain areas too that could drop visibility. Those will be a little bit more scattered. At least that's the way it looks right now. So not everybody is expected to run into lake effect snow as we go into the morning drive. But for those who do, I think some of those snow showers could have some squall-like tendencies where they drop visibility a little bit, might come down at a pretty good rate. Doesn't necessarily mean we're going to have a ton of snow as far as accumulations go, but do think we'll have a chance for some lower visibility at times. So here is how things shake out as we go through tonight. Here is a current look at the radar as the last round of rain gets set to move across the state tonight. It appears that we're getting a heavier band of rain right around the Flint area. It looks like it's very brief, but going into Tuscola County as well and heading towards the Caro region. Some strong wind gusts may be possible in some of that. Some briefly higher wind gusts could be up to maybe 40, 45 miles per hour or so. There is a lot of wind high above our heads, but a lot of that wind has been kept high above our heads because of the atmosphere down low. It's a little bit more stable. And so it's tougher to tap into some of that wind in these types of situations. However, if we are going to do that, I think the best chance for that to happen is right along that line as this comes through. Beyond things being gusty tonight, not really anticipating any typical severe weather that you would expect with any rain that passes through. I think our flooding threat is rather low. I do think there will be standing water in certain areas. Do think there will be the possibility of some poor drainage in certain spots because of drains that might be blocked from the last several weeks as we've added up that snow. We've plowed some of that snow. Could there be some areas where standing water is possible? Absolutely, but I don't think we're in a position where we're going to see major flooding or major river rises or anything like that out of any of this rain that is coming through tonight. The big picture, your sky tracker shows that we've got a cold front that is currently working across the state, and it's behind this cold front that we expect things to really start taking a tumble later on tonight. But as I have talked the last couple of days on the stream, my at least radar, no pun intended, is trying to figure out how quickly we see these temperatures fall and what factor the wind has as those temperatures fall. Because I do think once this rain comes to an end, which will be in the next couple of hours, this front is not necessarily slow across the region. It's made a lot of progress even over the last couple of hours. But how much time do we get after the rain comes to an end for the road crews to get out? They'll start treating. They'll probably have several hours before the morning commute to treat a lot of the main roads. And those road treatments in combination with the wind that we have, is that going to be enough to dry things out? No doubt. I think with the amount of rain that we have had today, even though it's not a flooding rain and the amount of snow melt we have and just thawing out of what we've had over the last couple of weeks, I do not doubt there will be icy roads tomorrow morning. My question is more so, to what degree are we going to have icy roads? I think if we can really get the road treatments on, we get several hours for the road crews to do their work. If we can get even a little bit of drying from the wind, I think that's going to go a long way. But this is a very tough needle to thread with these flash freeze scenarios. Timing is everything. It's been the main message I've talked about on the stream the last several days. Can we get those things done, at least enough to avoid sort of a widespread issue, or perhaps maybe a here and there kind of issue as we go towards tomorrow morning? I've looked at our school closings on the website. Only one school has called off for tomorrow. The Eastside Soup Kitchen is also closed, but that seems like it's more due to a water main break rather than the weather. So that's kind of where things stand right now. James Felton did a story earlier this evening that was talking about when superintendents might make a decision. I believe he talked to the superintendent in Mount Pleasant, who said that they were hoping to have a decision. If they were going to do it the night before, were they going to have a decision before 9 o'clock? That has not happened, at least according to our website. If they have made a decision and it just hasn't updated on our website, feel free to let me know in the comments. But I think with those factors involved, I think with the possibility of road treatments, I think with the possibility that we could get a little drying and evaporation from the wind, maybe we're in a position where we can have school tomorrow. But I think with all that being said, I do think rural areas and side streets and back roads, those types of regions are going to be most susceptible to icy patches or areas that may not have snow cleared quite as well. If you've had a lot of slush, and you still had a lot of slush tonight even after the rain and some of the warmer temperatures, I think those could be some trouble spots as well. A look at temperatures across the state tonight. We have already dropped below freezing on the other side of Lake Michigan. But keep in mind, as that cold air does go over the Great Lakes, there is some moderation still this time of year. The water temperature obviously is much colder than the summer, but it's still relatively warm. That's how we get lake effect snow. As long as that water is warmer underneath, we've got the cold air above it, we get that instability, we get the lake effect snow. So as that cold front is coming across Lake Michigan, as that cold air starts to move into mid-Michigan, it is going to moderate a little bit over the lake, a bit more so than the other side of the lake. We will eventually cool down, but it will probably take a little bit of time tonight. I think if you're still at a point tonight where you might have to run to the store or anything like that, or if you're getting up for the day and you work overnight, I think for at least the next couple of hours, you're in pretty good shape. I don't necessarily think you have anything to worry about. Someone asked me tonight, I'm catching somebody coming back on a Spirit flight in Detroit at 12:30. I'm going down to pick them up. I think by midnight, you're still probably above freezing over most of mid-Michigan. I think it's the further we get into the night, once we start getting to that 2 and 3 o'clock time frame, that's when I think we're going to start to see things drop. I think if you're in an area like Mount Pleasant, if we zoom in a little bit more, I think Mount Pleasant, Alma, and Clare, Houghton Lake, it could be a little closer to midnight or just after when you start to drop a little bit more than what you're already seeing. But we have a lot of work to do in areas like Flint and Saginaw. Flint, you're at 51, Saginaw at 50. We've got 50 in Lapeer, and we're still in the middle to upper 40s in the Thumb. So these areas have a lot of room to go before we get to the morning commute. You will get there unless there is just a complete change in a lot of our data and the way it's been looking in the last several days. You will eventually cool down in those areas. We've got a strong cold front coming through tonight, but you've got a lot of work to do between now and that morning commute to get down there. And even though we call it a flash freeze and things happen quickly, it's still not instantaneous. It is still going to take a little bit of time for some of that water to eventually freeze. And then, of course, you're adding treatments on top of that before it happens. And our main roads could be a little bit better than our side streets and back roads as we start tomorrow. So very complex forecast as we go into tomorrow, and that's why the question has been so tough. What do we do about school? What do we do about appointments? I think if you can afford to be patient, you might find if everything works out to the best possible scenario, is maybe it's more of a patchy, icy threat tomorrow rather than a widespread thing. But again, emphasis, timing is everything. I would at least plan on it being icy, and then if things are better than you expect, that's great. It's a little bit easier to adjust that way than have to scramble with school and childcare and all that type of stuff. So here is how our temperatures progress as we go through tonight. So I'll play the temperatures first, and then I'll do the precipitation that follows that. But you'll notice by 10 o'clock we're dropping a little bit more, might be down to maybe the mid to upper 30s in areas like Mount Pleasant. We fast forward to about midnight, we're starting to see those 30s make inroads into places like Saginaw. Now watch 12 o'clock up until 3 o'clock. We've dropped pretty well in Saginaw just over the course of that 3 hours. And so we're going to have a pretty good rate with temperatures dropping tonight. By 3 o'clock in the morning, Mount Pleasant, you're already in the teens to low 20s. Those teens and low 20s move into the Tri-Cities and Bay region as well as the Thumb by about 6. And then they don't really improve much from there. We're pretty much constant through the day Friday. We're expecting a lot of teens, we're expecting a lot of 20s, and your wind chills are even colder than that. So these are your futurecast wind chills that are following your actual temperatures. This is what you can expect tomorrow. I think we're still around the single digits to maybe even near zero in some spots for the early parts of the afternoon. And it doesn't really change as we head into the evening, maybe getting into positive territory for some. But tomorrow is going to be a cold day. What emphasis does that have as we head towards the weekend? Well, it means that if you have an untreated road that is icy tomorrow morning, if it doesn't get treated as we go through the day, it is likely going to stay icy through Saturday. And so we'll see kind of how things play out through the morning and really go from there. I think this is more of a nowcasting kind of event. I can give you as much information tonight as possible, but we really just have to see how well things hold up on the roads after those treatments are down and how everything else plays out. Here's the way the hour by hour looks through tonight. I think the rain is pretty much done over most of mid-Michigan by midnight. May linger a little bit longer than that in the thumb. We start to see some snow showers work their way in from the west as we get closer to tomorrow morning. So in addition to some of the rain that we see tonight, we'll have the chance at more snow showers tomorrow morning. Again, these snow showers are not expected to produce a ton when it comes to accumulation if you're just joining us, but they may have some squall-like tendencies through the first half of the day. What do I mean by squall-like tendencies? Lower visibility, some wind may come out of those that's locally higher than the winds you're currently seeing, and it's already going to be a breezy day tomorrow. I think we'll see some wind gusts between about 30 and 40 miles per hour on Friday. So that snow can blow around a little bit. Afternoon hours, things should slow down. I think as you head into your Friday night plans, we're in much better shape as far as any snow goes, but it will still remain cold. If you have plans tomorrow night, holiday parties, you're going out to find those last minute gifts before next week, you will have to account for the fact that it will be cold. And of course, we'll see how traffic evolves throughout the day. I'm going to end there just for a minute, not end the stream, but end my little spiel. Some of you are probably throwing things at your phone or at your monitor, telling me to stop talking and look at the questions. So let's see what we've got going on. Colleen says 47 in Montrose. Yeah, definitely still mild over our area. Current temperature in Mount Pleasant, farther to the west, about 41, but we've got 39 in Alma and Houghton Lake. So we are underway as far as that cold air is starting to move in. Elizabeth says, good weekend to stay inside. I suppose. I think things will be better as we head towards the weekend. Saturday should be warmer, so we'll be able to thaw out some of those icy areas. Excuse me. Let's see. Good to see Molly on the stream. Molly, nice to see you. One of our top-notch salespeople. Corey, one of the teachers I visit or have visited in the past. Corey, I hope you're doing well. Good to see you, Sherry, as always. And thank you, Kaylin. Goodrich at 50, rain in Bay City. Yeah, it's going to be rain for a while longer. There might be a little snow on the backside of this. As it comes through, it seems like we're seeing that on the west side of the state already. Here's the radar, starting to see some snow mix in areas like Big Rapids, Grand Rapids, Yankee Springs on the west side of the state. Let me take a look at some of the wind gusts, see what things are looking like there. So we've got some gusts between about what appears to be 25 to 35 miles per hour. I think within that band of rain that we talked about at the beginning of the stream. Right about here, moving through Tuscola County, wouldn't be shocked if there's some stronger gusts embedded within that area of rain, just because that precipitation is able to tap into some of that air that's a little bit higher above our head. So don't be surprised if it gets a little breezy. Crystal says, tell your cat hi. I will tell Frank I said hi, or you said hi. Scott, so 8 a.m. in the morning from Bay County to Flint should be a great day. Scott, I think that depends. Could the back roads and side streets be icy? I think so. I think those are the areas that are a little bit more susceptible, but I do think there's a world. I'm not saying it's a guarantee, by the way. I think we should all plan on it being a little icy tomorrow morning, just again to be on the safe side. I think the cautious approach is the best approach. But I also think there's a scenario where we get enough of a break behind the rain, the road crews get out, they're able to treat. And so if you take 75 from Bay County to Flint, maybe 75 is okay. Again, I think it's going to be a wait-and-see approach tomorrow morning. We'll have traffic updates all morning long to let you know how things are flowing, the types of accidents, everything. We'll have you covered on the morning shift tomorrow. Matthew does a great job with that, but I wouldn't necessarily say you're guaranteed to not be able to go. But if I had full confidence, I'd say don't worry about it. But I also don't want you to just completely cancel without seeing how things are going in the morning. Let's see. Melissa, hoping for no school tomorrow. Don't want to drive to work in the morning. Can understand that. I don't like ice. If you told me if I could make the call right now, if I had magical powers, and you asked me if we could have a foot of snow versus ice, I would take a foot of snow every time. Travis, hoping 75 is treated early. Let's see if I'll see if the road crews are out yet. They may not be because it's raining. I'm more so talking about the west side of the state. I did talk to somebody from MDOT earlier this week, and goes without saying that they usually wait until after the rain is done just so you don't wash any of those treatments away. But I would feel very confident in saying that they are ready at a moment's notice once the treatments are able to be applied, not replied. Once they're able to be applied, I have no doubt they will be out there ASAP to try and mitigate this as much as possible as they can go in the morning. Patricia, good to see you. No problem. That's what we're here for. That's what I get paid to do. Andrew, what about Bad Axe? A lot of back roads. I think it really depends on road treatments for Bad Axe. I would say Bad Axe, just for a very loose example here, I would say Bad Axe is more susceptible to icy roads than, say, downtown Saginaw. Just because you've got more back roads, you've got rural areas that are a little bit tougher to get to. But again, if we can get this rain over with, if road crews work through the night, if we can get some of that wind to help us out. The one area that I would be concerned with, and this goes outside of the thumb too, anywhere there's a back road that is dirt or gravel, I think could be icy tomorrow. Gravel tends to hold moisture a little bit better, and so I think gravel roads could be icy. Winds are picking up here in Cass City. Yeah, that's not a surprise with that band of rain coming through. Pretty windy in Coleman as well. I think it's going to be windy until that front crosses the area. You'll probably get a little bit of a die down behind the front, but I would expect it to remain breezy through the night. So here's how that looks. By 10 o'clock later, once that front makes more progress, you start to see the gusts back off to about 15 to 25. But then you see them pick right back up to around 20 and 30 overnight, and then they're back to about 35 to 40 as we head through tomorrow, maybe even a little bit stronger near the lakeshore. So that is what's going to lead to that chilly day tomorrow. So the wind will give you a brief break tonight. Do not expect it to go anywhere for Friday. Shelley, what do you think of Midland and Isabella County in the morning? I think pretty much everyone's in the same boat, unfortunately. The fact that Mount Pleasant did not make a decision tonight, according to our website, again, feel free if you're in the Mount Pleasant district and you've seen something differently, feel free to correct me. But I think the fact that the school district in Mount Pleasant did not make their call tonight kind of speaks to the fact that this could be a complex scenario going into the morning. They were going to touch base with the Weather Service office in Grand Rapids, according to James Felton's report, just because they're a little bit closer to that forecast office there. So maybe they heard enough tonight to give it a wait-and-see approach in the morning, too. I think, again, the easiest way that I would say we could handle this is I would go into the morning expecting icy roads, as far as just planning some extra time or having that backup idea in your head if you have a student that is still in session at the end of the week. But again, I think there is a scenario, if we can get this rain out of here, if we can treat enough and have the wind dry us out a little bit, that maybe main roads will be at least in better shape than what we might think. But these flash freeze scenarios are tricky. Cautious is best when it comes to these. because you could easily adjust the other way if things are better than you expect in the morning. I know I've repeated that several times, but just we have people constantly joining the stream, and so just want you to know about that. Let's see. Road crews can't do anything to help before the rain stops, correct? It would all wash away. Yeah, Jonathan, that is what I have gotten from MDOT is they definitely do not want to be out there now because they don't want anything to wash away. I'm sure there's probably scenarios where, you know, maybe if it's a drift, or excuse me, not a drift, a drizzle or mist, maybe you can apply with that because you're not necessarily getting a rain that's hard enough to wash things off the road. But I do not see any plows out or salt trucks out on the MI Drive map for the moment. And my suspicion is they are probably on standby, and as soon as they can be out, I am sure they will be out. That was according to their representative that I talked to on, I believe it was Monday or Tuesday, is they are fully aware, and this is the MDOT office. I haven't talked to any local crews, but I'm sure the strategy is the same. MDOT, they are aware of the situation tonight, and they are organized and ready to go. That is the impression that I got. Daughter works in Bay City. She's in Shields. Morning travel. Dana, I think that's going to be, again, just a wait and see. I wish I had a more concrete answer. Like I've said before, I think there's a scenario where main roads could be okay, and maybe just the side streets and back roads. But if we don't get enough wind tonight, if those treatments aren't down fast enough, not for a lack of effort, but if timing is everything with this, we have to line up everything just right. But I would say urge caution, and then see where we get when Matthew has his traffic updates in the morning. He'll be streaming from the desk after the newscasts get done at 7 o'clock. He'll have social media posts throughout the morning, I'm sure, on traffic, so feel free to check in. But also, MI Drive, if you're in a really big pinch, or she's in a really big pinch and needs right up to the info, right up to the minute info, midrive.com is a good resource. So yeah, that's kind of where things stand. Just so everybody knows, with the snowfall that we expect tomorrow, we'll have some snow showers come through. I don't anticipate a lot. Most of the projections we get from models are saying about a half inch or less. I would just say, excuse me, I would say I'd be more comfortable saying an inch or less, just in case we get a really good snow band that gets going. I'm usually more comfortable with lake effect to go a little bit higher than what the models say, just because lake effect has a tendency to overachieve sometimes, not necessarily in every single scenario, but if we get a couple of good snow bands through the day Friday, you see Houghton Lake's projected for about 1.3. They're closer to Lake Michigan. But, you know, could you tell me that a localized snow band comes through and we get an inch tomorrow? I don't necessarily think that would be a shock. So general expectation with any snowfall tomorrow, around an inch or less. Let's see. Travis says temp gauge is dropping already. Yeah, we're in the process now. It's still going to take some time, but we are underway at this point. And I'll pull up the state temperature map one more time, just so you can get a sense of what the temperatures are over there. Grand Rapids is at 38, Ludington's at 37, Kalamazoo at 37. Rita, pouring rain in Millington, no doubt about that. You are under that main band. Casey Posa, Flint Bishop Airport, good to see you. Funny story, well, not a funny story, but interesting story about Flint Bishop Airport. I did a story back, I think in 2020 or 2021, with the crews that clear the runway in winter weather. One of the coolest stories that I ever did. Got to ride in some of that equipment and see how they clear the runway in snow, what type of effort it takes. Really cool story. Unfortunately, I couldn't finish it the way I wanted to because back then I caught COVID and had to stay out of the office for a little bit. So knowing that my friend Casey Posa works there now, maybe I'll have to redo that story. But yeah, if you've got a flight tomorrow morning, we'll see how that goes. But those road crews that do the runway roads, they do a great job as well. A lot of cool equipment that they use for that too. So anyway, we're approaching, Casey says they've got new equipment. Might have to come back. I might take you up on that. That would be a really cool story to do. And if I do that, we'll play it at the live desk one night. Jody, really strong winds in Reese, no doubt. Tuscola County seems to be the area where we're getting a good pop of wind right now. Wendy says Jim Cantori would be a cool guest. Yeah, that would be cool. All right, so we've got our 10 o'clock newscast coming up. I'll give it just another moment for any questions. But again, if it saves you the effort, everyone is kind of in the same boat. We will see how everything lines up later tonight. A lot of puzzle pieces. We've got crews that will be at the ready to go out and salt the roads. We will have wind that hopefully can help us out with the drying and evaporation. We hope that we can get a lot of this water off the roads before that freezing happens. In no way am I trying to diminish or say that we are guaranteed to have that scenario happen. But I also don't want you surprised if you wake up and things aren't an ice rink. These flash freeze situations, they require some context. They are not, an incoming snowstorm that we can track pretty easily. A lot of it will depend on very localized conditions. And again, the timing is super important with all of that as well. Amber, absolutely. As a bus driver, not wanting to be on icy roads, I do not blame you at all. Amanda says we've got strong winds in Bay City. Yep, it will be gusty for, I would say, the next couple of hours. I think once we get to about midnight or so, you'll see a brief relaxation of the winds, and then they'll pick back up again overnight and into tomorrow. Expect a really windy day Friday. I think you'll see some gusts between about 30 and 40. All right, so that's where I'll end it tonight. Thanks for watching. Matthew will have updates throughout the morning, 4:30 to 7 on TV5. You can stream TV5 on our website as well. He will likely have a live stream after the newscast. And then, of course, we'll have school closings for the morning if necessary. And then meteorologist Diane Phillips and meteorologist Stone Schaefer will be in late morning, early afternoon to see how things have progressed. Thompson asks a good question. Will there still be spots that are icy even with the wind? Yes. I do not think we are completely getting rid of the ice. I think at the very least, roads that are not treated and roads that have lingering moisture and lingering slush, those types of areas tonight are going to be vulnerable unless they are treated or unless they are plowed before we get out of there. So again, there's a scenario where things could be better tomorrow morning. That doesn't mean we're off the hook. Side streets, back roads, gravel roads, dirt roads, I think those are going to be susceptible regardless, unless we can get some treatment on those before the morning as well. Very good question, Thompson. But I do think the wind can help. I think if we had calm winds tonight, I'd be more worried than I would be with the wind that we have. But I think the wind that we have can at least move us in the right direction. But the key is it going to be enough? So I hope you all have a good night. Please be safe in the morning if you are traveling. The updates will be flowing, I'm sure. And then we will touch base tomorrow night at 9 just to see how everything worked out. If you have students that are headed to school tomorrow, I hope they have a great last day. If they have a holiday party and they are in session, assuming it's safe to send them to school, I hope they have a wonderful holiday finish to their school season. And we'll see you all tomorrow night at 9 o'clock. Until then, take care of yourselves, and we'll see you then.